All right. Hey, team. Yo, I'm glad to be with you. We've got Aaron and Caleb with us today. Caleb is from the Leader Club, which he founded and is the president of, and has also been an expert and consultant with EOS. So, Caleb, we're glad to have this conversation. We're going to spend time talking about 4 seasons of business, scaling, growth, exiting. And I think it's going to be a really fun conversation for all of us. And as you know, Aaron from PPC Profit Pros, superstar with all things paid. So, Caleb, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Leader Club and the work you're doing with EOS, and then we'll jump into it.
Thanks, Alex and Aaron. Great to be with you guys. So I grew up just playing a lot of sports and got a business degree at SC, got to play volleyball at USC. And so I started leading in a sports context. And then after USC, I found myself in a big nonprofit and then some startup for-profits. I didn't fall in love with a particular industry. I just fell in love with helping people be better at what they do. There's something about maybe that sports background that fueled that in me, but that's what I focused on. And so from industry to industry, from business to business, I just loved drawing more out in people. So it didn't take too long before people were asking me to coach them. Some executives were asking me to coach them. And I was able to do that full time. And I started with EOS because EOS had saved a business that I was leading. It's the entrepreneurial operating system. It's just kind of the 900-pound gorilla in the execution space for 10 to 250 person businesses. And it just works. It works. And so I pushed my chips in and started doing EOS and helping a bunch of different businesses put their execution systems into place. And then while that was working, I had a few of these CEOs ask me for leadership coaching. So the Leader Club was really just born organically out of the leaders that I was already helping with their execution. And then we brought them together in a mastermind training context so I could help them and some key people in their organization level up. So that's how the coaching side of this came up. And then to your point about the seasons and the segments, what I saw in all these businesses is that the seasons are, when we start a business, we're just trying to figure out if we have a business. Is this thing going to work? Is this going to go? Do I have anything here? And so we just hustle and iterate. And it's probably just us, maybe a VA or a contractor. And then if we get some traction over 6 months or 6 years, then we move to kind of the execution, and EOS is really helpful there. And then we start thinking about our people and helping them level up. And then we start thinking about, do we have something that we can then empower them to take over, and we can bow out. So those are kind of the 4 seasons that we are going to outline here today.
Yeah, you nailed it. I love it. And the Leader Club, I've been involved with the Leader Club, which has been really cool. And one of the focuses of the Leader Club is to really empower your team to run the business, which even if you're in a corporate environment, the ability to empower a team to run the business levels up your ability to be a corporate leader and strategic thinker. And we've seen that with many of our clients as well as in our own business. So Caleb, thank you. It's been awesome. Been awesome being part of the Leader Club. We're glad you're with us today. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about season 1. What do you say, Aaron? Hustle and iterate. What's your experience with that one, Aaron?
Hustle, iterate. I mean, yeah, I started my business in 2020, and yeah, it's you start small and you work hard and you pivot quickly and you try things, and yeah, it's a crazy ride. And so so I know it organically. I've done it. I did it with my first business back in 2000. And then in between those, I helped some smaller companies do that. And big companies do that in incubating small new divisions inside their big companies. Right. So I'm familiar with it in a number of ways in different industries. Yeah, it's a crazy time. Alex, how about you?
Well, what's it like to run? So for you, Aaron, what's it like to run paid advertising for a business that's in season 1, or does that even happen?
It's a good question. It doesn't always, but I think it should. I think people underestimate the precision and power and immediacy of PPC, because they often are thinking, they're counting their money very carefully and they're being really tight with their marketing money. And they often think, search engines, for instance, let me get my traffic for free from them. And I'll just do a bunch of blogs and all this and that. But, a year later, they find out they're not even on page one for any keywords, and they've blown $100,000 on SEO. If they had taken that money and gotten nothing from it, if they've taken that money and there's people typing in their pain points, 90% of people find what they're looking for, the businesses that solve their problems by Googling them still. That might evolve as AI is starting to infringe on that search traffic a bit. But so what's happening is people are searching, and their competitors have got their ads there at the top above the free listings, and they're just grabbing those people with their pain points and trying to solve them and get some paid money in the door and get sales rolling and turning dollars. And so I would never start with like SEO is kind of like a slow boat to China. I would start with something, go fish where the fish are. These people are holding up their hands saying, I need help now. Give me your services. I want to pay for it. And so I think people wait too long. They wait till a later season when they're more desperate. And sometimes they've blown through money and they don't have as much money anymore to put to work with PPC with. So it can be a problem down the road in later seasons, I find.
Yeah. How about for you, Caleb? Like, what do you see as like the key, like leadership challenges that someone faces, or a leader, a business owner and their team face at the season one?
Well, so this is a little bit nuanced, and I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth, but I think that there's like a balance here if we can strike it, which is, on the one hand, we want to fail fast. And you hear the tech gurus talking about that, like start it, iterate, fail fast, so we learn and we pivot, fail fast, go, 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 go. And on the other hand, we want to like stay the course long enough so that we know what the heck we're doing and we don't quit too soon. So there takes a little bit of wisdom there to push, press, evaluate, pivot, but not give up too quickly if we're trending in the right direction, because some people will stop their YouTube channel because their views are only getting 12 views, but they haven't put in the time, or they'll stop with the paid advertising after 3 months because they're not converting quickly enough, but they just haven't laid the foundation. And so it takes a little bit of wisdom and nuance to do that dance. Persevere, but also be wise and keep iterating and pivoting as you go.
Yeah, we've seen what you're talking about even in established companies, right? So they're not in season one, but they're thinking about a new product or service as kind of season one of that product or service. They're launching something new. And what they will often do, the companies that are successful will be testing new ideas, and they'll be using paid advertising and a lot of different channels to test these ideas. And then those that kind of find the sweet spot, and we start putting more money into that effort, right? But we do persevere. Those that expect that things are going to happen immediately, like marketing and sales automation and sales teams are going to sell all this brand new product or service without any sort of perseverance or any data to support it, that's usually where we see owners being frustrated, right? That their expectation is it's going to happen now. Whereas oftentimes it takes kind of this constant iteration, like you're saying, and a commitment to a certain amount of time, 6 months, a year, or longer, to see if we're going to really get the return on investment from that.
That's some great points there, Alex. I wanted to say too, you got me thinking about this too in a different way, and that is, I see that they don't put in tracking mechanisms, the right tracking mechanisms. They're often focused on the wrong numbers, or they're missing numbers that they should be focused on. They're not accounting for things, and they're making decisions with a lack of data or the incorrect data. They're focusing on something that they shouldn't. It's not really actionable. It's not really helpful, and they're getting hung up on that. So I find that there's data tracking foundation that needs to be laid early on so that that can help guide them